Should Chlöe Swarbrick be sacked or prosecuted? The trouble with Chlöe Swarbrick MP is that she's either low IQ stupid or a typical global Greenie scam artist politician, always trying to pull the wool over people's eyes. Or baffle them with motorised parrot word salad. Take your pick, but the New Zealand Parliament needs adults, not high school students in power. The following is a perfect example of blatant dishonesty by omission. Take Chlöe Swarbrick's recent article in the New Zealand Herald a few days ago describing how the climate crisis requires immediate bold action. Typical scaremongering headlines. Check out a few of Chloe's comments. Basically, we reduce our emissions or we pay others to. We will be on the hook for billions by 2030. Multi-billion-dollar bill due in the next 6 years to meet our NDC. There are 196 countries which have signed up. Inaction comes with a massive financial bill. It's called the Paris Agreement. Sounds authentic, sounds scary, but it's all total bulldust. It's typical Swarbrick word salad on steroids, all designed to clandestinely cultivate future votes, mainly from the younger student population. Remember, Chloe aspires to be the leading left party in New Zealand by 2026. Having rammed such climate nonsense down people's throats, Chlöe Swarbrick then seems to feel justified in making further outrageous calls and demands to help solve the fictitious New Zealand-created climate crisis problem. Sell off some of our emission-polluting agricultural farms. Get rid of all fossil fuels, oil, coal, gas, and more if possible. Stop eating red meat and various other meat-polluting products. Drive electric vehicles only, or cycle, or walk, or even jog if possible. Stop all livestock animals from belching out polluting gases or blowing wind. Do these things and storms like Cyclone Gabrielle will become a thing of the past. It's all such verbose garbage it would be laughable, if it were not so serious. Hard to believe that hard-working taxpayers gift Swarbrick a $200,000 year salary package, and more, for all of this nonsense. It totally defies imagination. To put your mind at rest, here are some of the real facts. First, let's listen to what the ex-Minister of Climate Change and ex-Green Party co-leader, James Shaw, had to say recently about the Paris Agreement.
Paris Agreement, of course, has holes that you could drive a truck through. It's not enforceable. Every country can kind of come up with its own number. There's no particular formula for how you work out your number as compared to anybody else. Everybody uses different reporting. So, it's there's a problem to it.
And now, what does Graham Lloyd, environment editor of The Australian, have to say?
The thing about the Paris Agreement, it's a new United Nations body, and it's all about having everybody in the same tent so they can really sort of push each other around and tell them what to do. The minute someone's outside of the tent, they're really under no pressure whatsoever. So the thing that people need to understand about the Paris Agreement is that it's a voluntary agreement, if you like. Barack Obama, the US president, he negotiated it. He couldn't negotiate anything that would put any legal responsibilities on the United States because Congress simply wouldn't accept it. So what we ended up with is an agreement where people are encouraged to play along with no penalties.
So, in summary, here is what Chlöe Swarbrick deliberately leaves out of the scaremongering speeches and newspaper articles. The short answer is that there is no hard enforcement in the Paris Agreement, but members do meet regularly, share progress, renew their pledges of climate action, and encourage every country to step up its commitments. The Paris Agreement is a diplomatic agreement that brings the world together in a common effort to combat climate change. All members must make pledges of action every 5 years to lower their greenhouse gas emissions. Those pledges are called their nationally determined contributions, but while countries are required to submit these pledges, the content is up to them. Members get to decide for themselves what to promise in their NDCs. So, the main reason for countries to make strong NDCs isn't fear of being punished under the Paris Agreement. It's because their citizens and allies want them to cooperate on fighting climate change. Developing countries need funding and aid to meet their NDCs. The second major feature of the Paris Agreement is a commitment from wealthier countries to provide financial and technological assistance to the developing world, including countries with very large but still developing economies like China. As with the NDCs, the Paris Agreement does not set hard standards for this aid, so it's largely up to members to decide how their funds can be used. The Paris Agreement and NDCs are very loose arrangements, with few controls on how its members meet their commitments. This very flexibility, combined with regular, transparent sharing of information, is the main reason the Paris Agreement was able to win approval by nearly every country in the world. So, in summary, what Chlöe Swarbrick left out was that our Paris Agreement and NDCs are voluntary, there are no penalties, and failure to meet any agreed climate change efforts won't cost New Zealand a sausage. Should Chlöe Swarbrick be sacked or prosecuted? Thank you for listening. Geraint, on behalf of WhangareiTim.